all yours.
Okay, good evening, everybody. This is another Own Your Life session. I'm going to share the screen, so please just bear with me as I get it moving. From the beginning. There we go. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Okay, so tonight we're doing chapter 9. The sizzle sells the steak. Napkin presentation number 8. I'll just run through the beginning again. When you subtract out the sleeping time, commuting time, working time, and time for things you have to do each and every day of your life, almost all people don't have more than 1 or 2 hours each day to do what they like to do. And if they had the time, would they have the money to do it? We have discovered a way for you to learn how to own your life by building a home-based business, and we have a system for doing it that is so simple, anyone can do it, and it doesn't require selling, and the best part is it won't take much of your time. So another title that we sometimes use for this presentation is the blazers. I assume you have been camping before and you've made a campfire. And you will notice that if you separate the logs of a campfire, the fire goes out. But if you put them back together again, the fire will blaze up. So if you have one log, you have nothing. In other words, if you're by yourself, you don't have too much motivation. If you have 2 logs from that fire, you will have a little flame. When you put 3 logs together, you'll have a fire. By the time you put together 4 logs, you'll have a blaze. People are the same way. The next time you're meeting someone with your sponsor in a restaurant, for example, and arriving first, being there all by yourself, just think about it and notice how much energy there is or isn't around the table. You are sitting at the table by yourself. Notice that when your sponsor arrives, and there are now 2 of you, how much is there, or how much more energy is there? It's a bit of a boo-boo. The 2 of you are there to meet with someone. And when they arrive, there's even more energy. When the 4th person arrives, you really got it going. And we like to call these blazes or sizzle sessions. My other group in Grahamstown, they have sizzle sessions every week at a restaurant, and it sounds such a lot of fun, and they get such a lot out of it. Your network marketing program is the stake, and everybody knows the sizzle sells the steak. So if you want to get together with your sponsor and share the napkin presentations with 1 or 2 of your downline people, and get them sizzling and excited about what can happen. A good place to do this is in a restaurant. Pick a time when the restaurant is the least busy, around 10 o'clock or maybe 2 p.m. You may want to set up a schedule so your people will know where you'll be at a various time during the week. It's as if everybody's out gathering wood for the fire or for the blaze. They're looking for people, they're looking for guests, they're looking for people that they can invite to join you at this blaze. If you were to bring someone to a sizzle session who was a little bit of a skeptic, they weren't quite believing what you were talking about. In other words, they were a wet log. And we introduced them to the blaze. They would dry out and become part of the fire. So what happens if you're all by yourself and you being new in the business, talk to someone who's skeptical? That's like trying to put a wet log on nothing. Let's say you are a little twig, just getting started in the business. Your sponsor who's been around a little longer is a log. A log and a twig can create a flame. Just having someone with you can make a difference. It gives your sponsor someone to bounce conversation off of. Let's say I wanted to speak to Joe to get a message across to him. And if I'm talking to him directly, he might not really hear what I'm saying. But if there's a group of people or there's somebody else, let's say Carol is there, and knowing that Joe is listening, I start talking to Carol. It's amazing how people get more out of conversation when they listen in than if someone was talking to them directly. Another thing about these blazers in a restaurant, they get very energetic. There are people called eavesdroppers who could be listening in on some of our conversations. You can spot them, leaning back, trying to hear more, trying to hear what you're saying. Be aware, some of these people will be very interested. And when you're all done with your sizzle session and start to break up, stick around just for a few minutes and give them an opportunity to approach you. They won't come over to the table when there are 4 people there, but they may come over if you are now by yourself and your guests have left. We always start the blazing sessions by having the people, as they arrive, tell something positive that has happened with their products or their organization. While we're there, we talk only about the business. We don't try to solve the Middle East crisis or any of the world's other problems. We just speak near life. We are there to share ideas about how to build our business, how to talk to people about our business. We always break up our sessions with a parting word that goes something like, just think, this is as hard as we will ever work. I like telling people that. What I'm doing now, I'm talking to you, that's the business. That is what the business is all about. Just talking, and this is as hard as we will ever work. This gets a little contagious, especially if you have people join your group who still have their regular 9-to-5 jobs and have to leave because their lunch hour is gone. You might say to them as they leave to go back to work, see you later, Nick. But remember, and he might interrupt you saying, yeah, and I know, that's as hard as you will ever work. Nick will be motivated to hurry up and get to that same position. He doesn't want to work 9-to-5. So that's all I can tell you about the session this week. Next week, we'll be talking about motivation and attitude, and that's a little bit longer than this one. I'll stop sharing. So in other words, you know, I always wondered, why do some people, they've got their house in the town, but they go to the restaurant. Why don't they get people to their house? I find it more convenient for me. And suddenly after reading this passage more and more, I realize why it's better to go to the restaurant, because the other people will hear, and you might get eavesdroppers listening in and wanting to know more about the products that you're demonstrating or more about the business that you've just told other people. Public are awesome people. They listen in to what you're saying. So always be careful what you say and how you lead that meeting. Okay, that's all we have for this session. Sean, you can stop recording.